red-eyed version, but this, you can see his helmet is a lighter blue.
¿Qué pasó, bandita? ¿Cómo están? Yo soy tu cuate Raúl el Pelón y en esta ocasión, coleccionistas, bienvenidos a este video donde tengo un amigo el cual me contacta y me dice: Pelón, ¿qué te parece si hacemos una colaboración? Ya de que tú amas Transformers, yo amo Transformers, los dos amamos esta franquicia que comienza en los 80s y que la neta la sigue rompiendo hasta la fecha. Entonces, ¿qué te parece si te presento a mi amigo Russell desde Inglaterra? Tiene su canal de YouTube que se llama Toys R Us y él nos va a presentar unas piecesonas increíbles. Sin más preámbulos, señoras y señores, aquí les presento, coleccionistas, a mi compita Russell.
Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for those of you who don't know me, I'm a British YouTuber, and just like Raul, I like to collect toys, mainly Transformer toys. So for those of you who don't know me, I've got my own YouTube which is called Toys R Us, and what I've managed to do is to collect the entire run of Generation 1 figures and a few others. So I've managed to complete 1984 to 1993, including all the Japanese and European exclusives. And first and foremost, it's an absolute honour to be on Raul's show like this, and what he's asked me to do is just share with you guys some of my more rarer figures. So I've got a couple of treats to show you, including the Mexican IGA releases I've got in my collection, and indeed the European exclusive figures that were released very late on in the Generation 1 continuity from 1991, 92 and indeed 1993. Hope you enjoyed looking at them, and thanks for watching. We're going to start off with some of the Mexican variants that I've got right here. So this is the Mexican Devastator gift set. You can see we've got the IGA Plasticos logo right there, and the reason why this one is missing is so I can show you the difference in a second. We've then got a Trailbreaker box, which unfortunately isn't in the greatest condition. However, this one is much better. This is the IGA version of Thundercracker, and this has got no white sticker part there on the red. You can see that in much more detail down here. So we've got the loose Hasbro version there with the white on the wing, and we've got the Mexican variant there which has that missing, and it's also a slightly different shade of blue, and the nose cone is solid instead of rubber. Moving on to Starscream, again we've got the Hasbro variant here, which you can just about make out as a lighter grey. This is like a silvery colour, it's got more of a sheen, and also it's got the solid nose cone, and again difference in the stickers on the wings. Moving down to some of the more stranger things, shall we say. This is the standard Hasbro hoist. This is the Mexican version of hoist, and as you can see, they literally put a Trailbreaker's head on him like so. So he has a lovely name, he's known as Hoist Breaker. Moving over, funnily enough, this is the Mexican variant of Trailbreaker, and as you can see, it's got a black window instead of the standard blue. Moving on to Wheeljack, this is the Hasbro version, and hopefully you can see the difference, that how much brighter this is, and also the fact that this sticker is of higher quality. It's a plastic sticker, whereas the IGA variant had a duller paint scheme, and as you can see, the stickers are indeed paper, so they are much more susceptible to damage, which hopefully you can see right there. Moving down to Optimus Prime, there was 3 versions of him from Mexico. So we've got the standard one here, again there's the logo. This has got the normal yellow eyes, and this is the red-eyed version with the dark blue plastic. If I just spin him around quickly and you look inside there, you can see the plastic is dark blue, same on his helmet. Whereas if we look at the other one on this side, this is again red-eyed version, but this, you can see his helmet is a lighter blue, and indeed inside it is a lighter blue. So that's the 3 different known variants of IGA Optimus Prime. Moving down, we've got boxed examples of Twin Twist and Topspin. Now, the interesting thing with this is there's a couple of things. One, that they painted the faces red on the Mexican variant, and the other thing is on the boxes they also mixed up the tech specs. So you can see that on the back here you've got the wrong person on the tech spec. There's Twin Twist, but if we spin it around you can see quite clearly that it isn't. So as you can see, quite a few mistakes were made during the production of these figures. Now we're going to go to some even more obscure ones. This was pipes, and this is the figure they were trying to make. This was Huffer. What they literally did, you can see there, is paint the Huffer mould in the pipe's colours. He's known as Puffer. Then what we have is the original Swerve, and we have gears, and the IGA variant was just a gears painted in the Swerve colours. That's the Mexican Mixmaster I took out. You can see how much more green the actual plastic is. That's why I took him out, to show you the differences. And then we've got a sealed example of Blitzwing, and then we've got a opened but unused content. So you probably noticed these stickers on them which say safety tested, non-toxic. What that literally means was they had to open the packages and test them that the paint used inside wasn't toxic, and that's how they were sold in the UK. Okay, this is my Mexican collection as part of my G1 figures. So these are my European exclusives. These were released again mainly in Europe and in some Australasian countries between the years of 1991 and 1992. Some of them may look familiar because they were reissued just a couple of years later as part of the Generation 2 toy line, but I'm going to show you, if I can, a couple of the differences. We're going to start with the Predator jets. The 4 at the back are all sealed English versions with 3 loose jets at the front, and then I've got 2 sealed Italian variants, and you can see here they're made by Jig, which is in the bottom logos there, and they also changed the name as well on Bomber. That's the Italian name, and of course his English name was Talon. Now, Overlord was released again in Europe and Australasian countries a few years, in fact 3 years after he was released in Japan, of course, a part of Super God Master Force. However, the big difference is when he was released not in Japan, they were known as Energon figures, not Power Masters or indeed God Masters. To be honest, one of my absolute favourite figures. He's just so impressive. Again, just to show you some of the differences, there is the Obliterated Generation 2 box for Pyro, and here is the European version that came out a couple of years before. So you can see he's referred to as Pyro, and indeed there's no Generation 2 there, as there is on this other box. Again, just to remind you, if you want to see any more detailed videos on these individually, they are available on my channel. Now, unfortunately, Pyro does suffer from gold plastic syndrome. We've got both modes there with the battle station and indeed his Decepticon nemesis there, which is Clench. And again, we've got a nice sealed example there. No Generation 2 packaging, all in Generation 1. Moving down, this is the Dutch box variant of Thunderclash. You can see they've called him Eagle. I've got the loose example you'll see in a second. Coming on to the Turbo Masters, again all of these in the packaging are the Italian variants, and you can see they also changed the name, so Scorch is called Fury, and of course Boss is now Tigra. Hurricane, unfortunately I don't have a sealed one, so he's just popped there. Moving down, we've got the Rescue Force. Now these were strange because avid Transformer fans will recognise these as 4 bots from Leo Kaiser, which was of course again the Japanese exclusive figure, whereas in Europe we only got 4, so we got no combiner kibble, and indeed they were packaged differently. You can see there we've got silver weapons, but in the package example we've got red, and pretty much exactly the same but the opposite way around with what was known as Drill Horn. They're silver and they're red. More interestingly enough, they didn't actually have proper names. They were just referred to as Rescue Jet, Rescue Drill, Rescue Car and Rescue Tank. Moving down, we've got the Tracons. Got Deathwing there. There is of course Thunderclash, and there is Rotor Storm, and there is Iron Fist. Moving down to the Action Masters, and the interesting ones are the fact that Windmill and indeed Omega Supreme at the end there do actually transform. These 3 in the middle don't. They are of course Sideswipe, Trax and Power Flash. And then we've got the exosuits. So we've got Rumbler on the right hand side, and then we've got Circuit on the left. Again, European exclusives. Carrying on along, well, European and Australasian. We've got the Motivators. Now again, these interestingly enough were released in Japan a few years before as Road Caesar, and as you can see these were again released but with no combiner kibble. You can combine them but there's no kibble at all. You've got the gold boxes they were packaged in. We've then got the Decepticon exosuit, so we've got Slicer. And the interesting thing about this is lots of these characters are quite prevalent right now. So this is of course Evil Wheeljack, or Shattered Glass Wheeljack, and to be honest, there is Thundercracker, and that is pretty much one of the main reasons why we have the Shattered Glass continuity now. There is Thundercracker's exosuit and jet, and that is Slicer's vehicle. What we've got here is an English one, and we've got a multi-language European version. Moving on to the Decepticon Action Masters, so we've got the 3 standard ones. We've got Bombshell, Charger, and then we've got the Action Master Elites, which you can see there. These are basically based on Bruticus and indeed Scorponok. You can tell just by looking at them. Now the Constructicons, you can see the yellow ones. I know these were released as part of G2, but these were released beforehand in again in these packaging, and as you can see, there's no combiner kibble. And if we spin it round to the back, you can see the date right there, 1991, Hasbro UK. So these were released all before Generation 2, but with no combiner kibble, very interestingly and strangely enough. Okay, last few down here, we've got Stalker, we've got a couple of them loose, and then we've got the Track-Ons, we've got Calcar, and we've got Fierce Sweep. Finally, another one who again horrendously suffers with gold plastic syndrome is of course the Predator Skyquake. I think that pretty much covers the European exclusives. Once again, if you'd like to see these in any more detail, just type their names into the search bar on my channel.
Wow, la neta que la colección de Transformers de mi compita Russ está increíble, chavos, y este es nada más, ahora sí que una muestra. O sea, yo le pedí en lo personal que nos mostrara pues cosas exclusivas de Europa, algunos IGAs también, porque ustedes deben de saber que los IGAs también se vendieron, se fabricaron en México, pero se vendieron también allá en Inglaterra. Está impresionante. Ya lo saben, sigan a mi compita Russ en su canal. De todos modos, todas sus redes sociales y todos los detalles se los voy a poner aquí en la descripción, chavos. Si les gustó el video, denle like, comenten cuál de todo lo que vieron, cuál pieza les gustó más, les impresionó más. Y también, si ya llegaste a estas alturas del video, te voy a invitar a que te suscribas, ya de que me encanta cómo cada día somos más. Nos vemos en el próximo video. Espero te haya gustado esta colaboración. Yo soy tu cuate, Raúl el Pelón.